Hello, welcome back to Rudy's Common Sense. Of course, I'm Rudy Giuliani. The narrative has already begun to set in our new world, the world of censorship, the world of the Iron Curtain of censorship, where the repetition of the same narrative is almost word for word identical on ABC, CBS, NBC, some days now even Fox, CNN, MSN, please, I can't go through all of them, you know that. The New York Times, the Washington Post, all the newspapers, the magazines, the whole big media repeat the same thing as if they're an organ of the Democrat Party. Every narrative the Dems want to spin, they can spin. Well, we have another example of that. Honestly, at this point, I don't know how bad, and I am going to fully examine it in great detail over the weekend. But for now, I want to point out some of the things just so that it doesn't get so locked in your mind that it becomes impossible to see the other side of it if there is another side to it. And I'm talking about the horrendous thing that occurred after the very, very uplifting rally for President Donald Trump on the 6th of January, the day that the vote was being taken. I was there. I spoke at the rally along with Donald Jr., Professor Eastman, several others, and the president. The rally was magnificent. It was quite beautiful. I mean, it was a rally of love. Probably one of the things repeated most often was, we love Trump, we love Trump. Whether you love the president, like the president, admire the president, dislike the president, disagree with the president, or hate him, you've got to admit he's got extremely loyal supporters who have deep, deep affection for him. The level of his support, the level of those people strongly committed to Donald Trump has always been substantially higher than any other American politician. Having been involved in both his campaigns, the level of deep loyalty to him in comparison to Biden was 4-1, and in comparison to Hillary, it was 3-1, and well, whatever's the case. These are the people who were there. I don't know how many. As far as the eye could see, from the ellipse all the way to the Washington Monument, where I could see people lined up listening, they all seemed to be really nice people, even though they're in a difficult situation with Biden having been given the electoral votes in the disputed states. They still had hope. And of course, great passion. The speeches that were given were received really well. They didn't create any anger or excessive anything. There was no violence at the speeches, none, no hint of it, no taste of it, no feeling of it, nothing at all. Then, can't remember exactly how long, sometime thereafter, there was an incident at the Capitol in which people broke in or were led into the Capitol and did a significant amount of damage. And it also tragically led to the shooting death of a young woman by the police under circumstances that I'm not sure at this point should be described until they're fleshed out in more detail. But my sympathy and condolences go out to her family, because this is not a situation in which anybody should have died. Let's begin by making it clear that throughout my career, I don't think anyone would doubt that I've always abhorred violence. I don't believe in it. I don't believe it solves anything. And I believe that it is often used to discredit decent causes. And sometimes it's used to extend really horrible causes. There's no real connection between the two. Both happens. But people who are involved in it should not be involved in America, because America should be persuaded by ideas and words and rationality. The name of this podcast is Common Sense, and that should be the medium of discussion. Common sense. Never violence. No excuse for it. On the left, on the right, in the middle, or in mixed situations. However it happens. And it's been happening in politics, and it's been happening in government for generations, going back hundreds and hundreds of years. People develop very, very strong views about politics, and then sometimes corruption gets into it, and they have other motives. But violence and politics, unfortunately, intersect at times. The narrative here, just to simplify, which became immediate, and of course you could predict it would be because of the hatred for Donald Trump by the prevailing media and the Democrat politicians who completely control the prevailing media, would be to blame the riot on Trump. The riot took place because of Trump's rally. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I can't give you all the definitive facts yet, but I can give you some facts to start thinking about over the weekend that will begin to give you the chance to see a separate narrative, which you will not be shown on any of the censored media that run as a organ of the Democrat Party and of Joe Biden, almost as if they were part of the Soviet Union government or the Nazi government or current Venezuela or current China. So I'm going to give you facts, and then hopefully in more detail later next week when we can examine a lot more footage, I'm going to give you facts you're not going to see elsewhere that create a very different conclusion about this riot. First of all, to connect the rally and the riot would mean that at the rally, things were said and things were suggested and violence was incited and the crowd went wild, and then the crowd just ran off and spontaneously engaged in a demonstration against the Capitol, crashed their way into the Capitol, and did whatever damage they did. Well, that isn't what happened. The rally ended. No one was incited to anything at the end of the rally. And the riot was pre-planned. The riot was planned well before the rally. So irrespective of what the rally did or didn't do, the riot was going to take place. Now, how do you know that? Well, you know that because they brought with them the rioters, as opposed to the people that were at the rally. I didn't see people at the rally with rope, with hammers. I didn't see them with bats. I didn't see them with glass-breaking equipment. I didn't see them with vials of chemicals. I didn't see them with bottles of milk or walkie-talkies or high-end cameras and video equipment. They all seem to be just themselves and freezing, actually, with their hands going like this. So the point is that between the rally and the entrance to the Congress, which I guess was about a half hour, maybe an hour at most, it's impossible to think that these people went and bought all these things, all these implements of being able to break and enter. This is like the crazy lies about the Benghazi thing being spontaneous, when they brought wall scaling equipment, and they brought bazookas, and they brought knives and pitchforks and the implements that he used to climb mountains or walls. Obviously a pre-planned demonstration. This was a pre-planned attack on the Capitol, which would have happened rally or no rally, or irrespective of anything said at the rally, and nothing said at the rally would amount to inciting anything. And it didn't incite anything at the moment it was said, much less later. And if it didn't incite it at the moment it was said, it's not going to do it much less later, because It wasn't repeated over and over again in some kind of truck riding through there. Time to take a short break. I accomplished a lot in 2020, exposing the truth, establishing the relationship with you, working tirelessly for America. And I came to know the work and value of the people at American Hartford Gold. You see, you buy gold not only for what you know, but you buy gold for what you to 6553 basic rally. Well, we don't know. Count on 833 Gold 3. So who and what organized this rally? Well, we don't know yet completely. But what we do know is that the basic thrust here were people who were skilled at doing this. Because, folks, these are uncertain times. The one